Do you know where your employees are? That seems like a simple question, right? But if you work in mobility compliance, you know that that is not necessarily an easy question to answer. For today's video, I'm going to highlight results from our Pulse survey on mobile employees. This survey is part of our Equity Compensation Outlook, which is a collaboration between the NASPP and Fidelity Investments. This is the first in 4 Pulse surveys that will provide your 360-degree outlook on the current and future state of equity compensation. The first highlight that I want to bring to your attention is that the global pandemic has had a significant impact on employee mobility. Over 60% of respondents to the survey report that their mobile employee population has increased as a result of the pandemic. Just under half had employees voluntarily relocate to wait out shelter-in-place orders. And just over half had newly hired employees who would have relocated but didn't because of the pandemic. And that disruption is likely to continue. Only 15% of companies expect to return to their pre-pandemic remote working policy. And 1 out of every 3 companies expect to have a policy that will allow employees to voluntarily relocate. The second highlight that I want to bring to your attention is that tax compliance for mobile employees is a team effort. Nearly 90% of respondents indicated that they are notified of employee movements by either payroll, HR, or their mobility department. And given that high percentage, it's not surprising that over 80% also indicated that mobility data is stored in those department systems. When it comes to tax calculations, however, we see some more variation in practice. Just under 50% use a third-party tax advisor to perform their tax calculations. But that still leaves over 50% that are doing something different. Over 15% have payroll doing the tax calculations, and at over 15%, the stock plan administrator does the tax calculations. And the last highlight I want to bring to your attention is that globally mobile employees get all the attention. When it comes to tax compliance and employee education, most companies focus their efforts on their global employees. For permanent transferees, over 85% of companies educate their permanent global transferees on the tax implications of their moves, but less than 20% provide that same education for their permanent state-to-state transferees. That is despite the fact that over 80% of respondents to the survey had permanent state-to-state transferees. And we see the same trend with temporary transferees. Over 70% educate their global temporary transferees on the tax implications of their movements, but only 15% provide that same education for state-to-state transferees. And that's my quick take. Emily Servino of Fidelity offers her take in a guest entry in the NASPP blog, and it's not too late to get your own take. Sign up to participate in the Equity Compensation Outlook at NASPP.com. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for updates when we post future videos.